Hello students, my name is Otin Joseph. Welcome to another lesson on grade 5 mathematics on the OK e-learning program. Today we are going to have a lesson on Roman numerals. We are going to learn how to put the Roman numerals together to form numbers. But before we go on, we have to take note of the main characters of the Roman numerals. So what I have on the board are the main characters of the Roman numerals. In the Roman numerals, whenever you see I, it stands for 1. I equals 1. So when you see double I, then it represents 2. Triple I, that is I, represents 3 in Roman numeration system. Then if we take I and add it to V, giving us IV is equal to 4. So in the Roman numeration system, IV represents 4. V represents 5. V represents 5. L represents 50 and C represents 100. So these are the main characters in the Roman numeration system, and we are going to combine these characters together to form huge numbers. What we are going to do now is to learn how to write the Roman numerals from 1 to 100. I want you to give me your maximum attention because there are some tricks here you have to know, and those tricks will come out as we get along with the writing of the Roman numerals. So I have already told you that whenever I write I, it represents 1. So that one we don't have any problem with it. When I write II, it represents 2. I represents 3. And I said IV represents 4. And V represents 5. Now the trick starts from here. From 5 going, listen to me. Whenever I write any of these things in front of the I, it means I'm subtracting from it. Okay? So whenever a smaller number comes in front of a bigger number in the Roman numeration system, it means you are subtracting from it. But whenever a smaller number comes after a bigger number, then it means you are adding the numbers. Are you getting me? So now here is 5. For me to get to 6, I have to add 1 to 5. If I write the I in front of the V, it means I'm subtracting from it, and I'll get 4. So I have to write the I after the V. Okay? I have to write the I after the V. That means I'm adding the I to the V, making it 6. Okay? So 6 will be this. This is bigger than this one. Okay? So V plus I gives me 6. I have to move on to 7. This is 2. This is 5. So I have to add 2 and 5. But how do I put them together? Do I write the 2 in front of the 5, or I write it after the 5? If I write it in front of the 5, it means I'm subtracting. So it will give me 3 rather, and not 7. But if I write the 2 after the 5, I have added the 5 and the 2. So that gives me 7. So 7 becomes VII, and that is this. Okay? So we move on. 8. 8 will be 5 plus 3. We are adding, so I write in front of it. And that gives me 8. Then I told you that X represents 10, right? We cannot say that this is 5, this is 4. So I write VIV for 9. This cannot represent 9, okay? So for us to get 9, we have to take 1 out of 10. And I told you, if you are subtracting, you write the number in front of, the smaller number in front of the bigger number. So getting 9, I have to write I in front of X, and that will give me 9. It means that 1 minus 10, giving me 9. Now X represents 10. as I have already said. So we have learned how to write the Roman numerals from 1 to 10. We spoke of the main characters from here as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then from 5 going, we started to learn how to combine smaller and bigger Roman numerals to form more complex or more bigger ones. And from here, I said that if I want 6, it means I have to add, we don't have a different or a separate letter for 6. So I have to add 1 and 5 to get 6. But I told you, to get 6, you have to add 1 to 5. And how should I put the 5 and the 1 together? Should I write the 1 in front of the 5 like this or after it? And I told you, whenever you write a smaller number in front of a bigger one, it means you are subtracting. So IV cannot give me 6. IV means 5 minus 1. That will give us 4. So to get 6, it should be VI. That's 5 plus 1. Okay? So we did the same thing. 5 plus 2 giving us 7. 5 plus 3 giving us 8. And we don't have a separate letter for 9. But we have a letter for 10. We have a letter for 1. So to get 9, what do? I just take 1 from 10 and I get 9. But should it be IX or XI? IX means 10 minus 1. And that will give us 9. XI means 10 plus 1. That will not give us 9. Okay? So we can move on with the same trick. We move on to 11. To get 11, we add 1 to 10. That will be XI. So we have it. This is 11. Okay? 12 will be what? 10 plus 2. And that is 12. 13 will be 10 plus 3. Like this. XIII. And that will be equal to 13. So how are we going to write 14? From the rules, we already know that X represents 10 and 4 is smaller than 10. So to get 14, we add X and 4 together. In Roman numeration system, 4 is represented as IV. So XIV simply represents what? 14. Okay, we can move on and move on and move on. How are we going to write 20? How are we going to write 20? We know that X represents 10, right? So to get 20, we have to add 2 X's together to get 20. So X plus X is going to give us 20. Okay? So let's learn how to write 27 in Roman numeration system. We know 20 already to be XX. We don't have a separate letter for 7, but we know that when we add 2 to 5, we get 7, right? And adding 2 to 5, it is going to be VII. So we have 20 there, we add 7 to it. XXVII, and that is going to give us what? 27. Okay? Following the same rules, let's write 38. 38. How do we write 38? Let's first write 30. We know that to get 30, we have to put 3 10s together. So we have to put X, X, X together. And that will give us 30. And we know in Roman numerals that 8 has no separate letter, but 8 can be obtained by adding 3 to 5. So this is 8, this is 30. So what we have here is 38. Okay, so let's learn how to write 40. Putting 4 x's together to get 40 is not wrong, but that is too long for us. Since we have a single letter for 50 and we have a single letter for 10, then we can subtract 10 from 50 to get 40, right? And I told you that to subtract the smaller number from the bigger one, you write the smaller number in front of the bigger one. So XL simply means 50 minus 10, and that will give us 40. Okay, so we can move on and write something like 49. Okay, we know that 40 is XL, 9 is IX. So putting XL and IX together gives us 49. Okay? Then we can move on to write something like 60. 60. We don't have a separate letter for 60, but we have a separate letter for 50. And we have a separate letter for 10. So we can add 50 and 10 together to get 60. And on adding, we write the smaller number after the bigger number. So LX is 60. Okay, so whilst XL is 40, LX is 60. Now let's see if we can write 77. 77. We know that L represents 50. And to get 70, we have to add 20 to it. And 20 is what? XX. So LXX is 70, right? Then we can add 7 to it. And we know that 7 is VII, right? So LXX VII means 77, okay? So that gives us 77. How are we going to write 80? 80. So we have L to be 50, right? And we know that when we put 3 of the x's together, we get 30. So we add 30 to 50, and that gives us 80. So here we are. We have our 80 simply written. Lastly, let's learn how to write 91 in Roman numeration system. 91. We have a separate letter for 100, right? So C represents 100, okay? To get 90, we have to subtract what? 10 from 100, isn't it? Right, so I subtract 10 from 100, and I get 90, okay? But we want to write 91, not 90. So this is 90. I have to add 1 to 90 to get 91, okay? And we know that if we are adding, we have to write the smaller number after the bigger one. 90 is the bigger one, so I add the 1 after the 90, and that is going to give me 91. 91. And then finally, C is our 100, as I already said from the beginning of the lesson. So we have learned how to write Roman numerals from 1 to 100. And I believe at this point you are okay with the rules and the tricks that are involved in writing Roman numerals. I want you to stay home and learn how to write the Roman numerals from 100 to 200 using the rules and the tricks I have taught you. Okay, we don't have separate letters again for any other numbers. I have already given you the key words, the key numbers that are used in writing all kinds of Roman numerals. Right? I know you have come to take your assignment from the school premises on Roman numerals. Please, as you are staying home, make sure you do the assignment and submit it for marking. And after that, do well to learn how to write Roman numerals from 100 to 200, then from 200 to 300 until you get to 1,000. Stay home, stay safe, and take very good care of yourself till we meet next time for the next lesson. Bye-bye.